Update, should I 29F asked my fiancé, 31M, to split bills and expenses more proportionately? Original post. At our monthly relationship check-in we actually both brought up how we split our expenses. We decided to sit down and look at our incomes and current shared expenses. In the end we agreed to split proportionately and discussed a timeline for combining our finances when we get married. I am still looking for a better job, but for now I'm really happy with our discussion and decision. Too long did not read. We talked and mutually agreed to split proportionately. Great job on the communication there and making things work. I don't know if this was answered in the last thread, but and I use the Splitwise app. Absolutely love that you have monthly check-ins, clearly does great things for your relationship. So glad you sorted out this issue. Proportional bill allotting is great for relationships. You can even do this easy enough when you're married. Apps make it really easy. Monthly relationship check-in. This sounds both mechanical and healthy as fuck. I need this. But not sure when to bring it up. That's great. I'm glad you two were able to figure it out. Woo. So happy to see people communicating. Just saw the original post. I think it's reasonable he takes on more of the expenses. At $25,000 you did one hell of a job going 50-50 and I hope he appreciates that. You mama a dime a dozen these days. Congrats on the negotiations and good luck on the job prospects. Glad you both came to a reasonable solution. Sounds like you're marrying a sucker. Frankly, proportionately split is kinda bullshit if you seriously think about it. You're two adults. You both require the same things equally, like heat, water, food, housing, etc. There might be minor variance in some of these things, liking it colder, or shorter showers, fewer calories, etc. But you're both needing the same things equally. Just because partner 1 makes 25% less than partner 2 doesn't mean partner 2 should pay more for partner 1's living expenses to make the difference between income. Hello friends, can you help me? I want one girl for marriage, please help me. Split expenses and savings, money left after expenses paid, according to proportional wages. This is awesome. I don't personally believe in combining finances aside from necessary purchases, so just be careful on that end. You don't want to combine but have him get mad you're using the money you earn on things you buy, aside from necessities. I think thinking face sir, or he should pay the rent. Happy 22. Partying face. Monthly relationship check-in. Is that like a performance review? Sounds terrifying. I didn't see the original post when you made it, but super happy to see this has worked out for you. It can be daunting at times to bring up this sort of thing with your partner if you've never had to broach the subject in the past. I want to hear about monthly relationships check-ins. Yes. This is awesome. You pay 1/3 if the bills and he covers the other 2/3. Proportional is great. So much better than nothing. 20 years of nothing can be very discouraging to your mate. Proud of you. Could anyone explain the process of a monthly relationship check-in? I really like the sound of an open communicative situation. My last relationship could have used one of those for sure. LMAO. Do you guys just sit down and discuss how you're feeling regarding each other, the relationship, and things regarding the two of you as a team? Takes notes, especially some gents and ladies out there that expect everything to be given to them. If you are living together, yes, it should be 50-50 unless each party agrees to pay a certain bill. However, I wouldn't have a joint account even when married. You need to keep mind what if the relationship goes bad and most of the time one or the other is going to the bank and clean out the accounts. Then that leaves you another issue to raise in divorce court to get your shared. I have seen too many people that have shared accounts and end up with nothing. Keep separate accounts at all times and don't let the other have access to it. You will thank yourself in the long run. You are in love now so you don't see the risk, but when things go south, you won't regret me. Congrats. I might suggest some couples therapy sessions for the two of you. You've made a great starting point, but given you still seem so inexperienced communicating how you are feeling, it might really benefit your relationship. Couples therapy isn't just for when a relationship is falling apart. My partner and I attended many sessions after 2 years because my personal expectations for relationships were toxic and I was terrible at communicating. It's helped our relationship so much tackling it early. Of course, do it when you feel financially ready, but I think you might find a good session will be worth much more than a date night. Seeding the idea now isn't a bad idea though. If you need help on the job front, I can give some advice depending on your field. I love happy endings. Good job. That's what my wife and I do, and it works great for us. Nobody is having to pay for something that would make them struggle. Nothing wrong with monthly check-ins, they turn into family meetings when you get married and have kids. As far as the finances are concerned, what works best is what you should do, and it may change depending on how things go if you do end up married with kids. Especially if it turns out that your job doesn't make it worth the price of childcare and you end up a stay-at-home mom. Great job. $25,000 is like poverty wages. I am glad he came to his senses. Think about visiting a temp agency. They can help you find something better, and it's not always short-term gigs they hire for. Some are long-term, and some are short-term with the possibility for long-term if you do well. My parents have a spreadsheet they use every month, and it's according to their yearly income and shared expenses. Good way to keep track of it. Just wanted to point out, $25K is very underpaid for a skilled web designer, so keep up the job search. It's also worth noting if you can expand your skills into front-end development on top of design, like React, Angular, Vue, you can easily make 5x that income. Front-end developers who also have a good eye for design are hard to come by. Man, I love hearing about emotionally healthy resolutions on this sub. Well done. After several trial and errors we came up with the best system, IMHO. One account that is joint, its primary job is to pay bills. We each direct deposit a specific amount into that account that is sufficient to cover expenses plus a buffer. At the end of each month, based on pay schedules, leftover money is moved into savings so we can handle unexpected expenses, cars, medical, etc. Then we each have our own personal accounts that contains our own money that isn't put into joint, providing a really nice balance between sharing expenses and still having some healthy autonomy. People were hating on him in the last post. Meanwhile, I'm thinking this is probably just a serious dating thing that carried over a bit too long. Then when it became an issue, you both recognized it and worked it out fairly. Sounds like a solid relationship. Monthly check-ins are a great idea. Monthly relationship check. Yeah, you guys will go far. Congratulations on your communication skills, it's something sorely lacking in a lot of relationships. Was your fiancé surprised that you could not afford what he could afford based on the big difference in your incomes? It is surprising to me that he didn't recognize that a 50-50 split was unfair and unsustainable from the beginning, and that you mentioning you could not afford to do things didn't make him wonder why. I mean, yay and all, but seriously. How was it not obvious to this 30-something-year-old man that he makes literally 3x your salary and that you're paying half his mortgage while scrimping and saving? It speaks to obliviousness at best and callousness at worst. I'm so glad. I read your post and thought it didn't sound like some of these finance split posts, as he seemed like a great partner and probably just needed to understand the strain this method was creating. Your relationship sounds pretty healthy. So glad this worked out. Well done with the communication. It saves time and love. This update relieves me. I'm so glad you both see the problem and are willing to work it out. I agree that 50-50 is fair, but that's also not in all cases. Like, it is technically fair, but is it really? Plus, what is money if you guys can't enjoy your time together? If you guys never do anything because you don't have money and he does, then that sucks. It also shouldn't matter too much this far into the relationship if you guys plan to eventually get married. Hope this wasn't confusing, lol. I'm so glad you guys figured it out. I don't formally share expenses or finances with my boyfriend, but I make 2x what he does and frankly, just pay for most shared things most of the time, and quite a few things for him too. What I do expect, though, that if he borrows money from me and says he will pay it back, that he will. I'm vegan, so I expect him to pay for his non-vegan groceries. Honestly, as long as it's not putting undue pressure on me, and it doesn't, I don't mind the financial disparity. Disparities in other things, emotional support, chores, etc., are much more concerning to me. Glad things worked out for you. It seemed silly you had to cut down on things like necessary clothes and haircuts due to having to pay too much on bills, when the other person earned a lot more. What did you agree on? 70/30ths? 60/40ths? Phew, glad to hear it. Your post had really stuck with me. What is monthly relationship check? I did this with my boyfriend when we moved in together 4 years ago. Still going strong, still splitting bills. WTF is a monthly relationship check-in. So happy to see how well this worked out for the two of you. Hopefully, this starts a great trend about opening up healthy communication about difficult subjects. Best of luck on your future together. I'm glad the discussion went well for you. I was sad to read that you didn't get a haircut in over a year and aren't buying yourself new clothes. Sounds like you guys are going to go the distance for sure. Damn, I'm wishing this will be me when I'll be 25 and if I get to be back with her. You guys are idols when it comes to communication in relationships. I read your previous post and notice he owns the house you live in. Have you had a discussion about adding yourself onto the mortgage deed? If not, you are literally paying for half of something that's not yours. I'm guessing these things should always go by percentage rather than some equal amount. That way, it doesn't matter how much the salary is, you just agree to put, say, 50% for bills and if he makes more, he'll pay more, but the proportion works.